I, for one, never thought Lewis was an atheist. If you were here, I would say, Professor, you didn't know yourself well enough. And I say this for a very good reason. He wrote lots of poetry when he was a blaspheming atheist. Those are Lewis's own words. Except they're some of the most profound religious poems you'll ever read in your life. How could such an atheist write such poetry? Well, anyway, he becomes a theist in 1929, and in 1931 he becomes a Christian. He accepts Jesus as his Savior. He tries to tell this story, but it's clear from his autobiography that he himself doesn't understand quite how this happened. He was on his way to a zoo to see a bear, and before he knew it, he was a Christian. And then his fame grew, and he became first a very great and famous scholar. It's arguably the case that C.S. Lewis was the greatest expert in medieval and Renaissance English literature of his age. He became a famous cultural critic with essays and newspaper articles, and then, of course, famed as a religious thinker. It's impossible to describe how one person can do all of these things in so many different forms. But the following small anecdote may give you some idea of the kind of brain that was inside that skull. Very often Lewis had dinner parties for his students, and they would come over and have a little to drink, Some time or another a man would say, Kenneth Tynan famously said this, the famous theater critic and producer would say, damn it, I can't remember a thing I read. And Lewis would say, you think that's bad? It's worse not to be able to forget anything you read. Oh, really, they would say. Really, said Lewis. And the young man would choose any of 1,000 or so books off of Lewis's shelves, open to any page at random, and understand this might be in one of 4 or 5 different languages, and begin to read the book and stop at a certain point on the page, at which point Lewis would finish the rest of the page from memory. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he could get so much done. Well, he became famous as a Christian apologist with Screwtape. Speaking over the BBC, his voice during World War II was the second most recognized voice in England, after Winston Churchill's, of course. His broadcasts over the BBC would become the very famous and influential book, Mere Christianity, which I'm sure some of you know and love well. He appears on the cover of Time magazine in 1947 with that little angel on his shoulder, and all the time is writing letter after letter after letter, as you heard Tom refer to. And yet, to himself and to those who knew him, he was a very plain, kind of stodgy, a little eccentric, ordinary fellow. And this is exemplified by one of my favorite stories about Lewis, who loved animals. Just if you read his work, it's all over the how much he loved animals. He was a member of the Anti-Vivisection Society very, very early on. He had an old dog named Mr. Papworth. And in his decrepitude, Papworth developed a certain idiosyncrasy. He could only eat if he was walking. He could not eat if he was standing still. But the matter was complicated by the fact that he wouldn't eat if somebody watched him as he ate. So twice a day, the neighbors would see the great and renowned C.S. Lewis walking down the path, throwing dog food over his shoulder so Papworth could follow and eat the dog food. And every now and then, Lewis would just turn and watch, and Papworth would just stand still until Lewis began to do this again. In one of the letters, and by the way, there were 3 volumes of letters that run to 3,000 pages. I mean, it's just wonderful, wonderful reading. Apropos Papworth, one of my favorite lines from Lewis, man plus dog closes a gap in the universe. Well, he was a master of many, many forms. Poetry, fiction of many types, essays, sermons, reviews, newspaper articles, broadcaster. I noted earlier that saints and angels never sleep. Apparently, neither did C.S. Lewis. He was a born storyteller. Tolkien did not want to write a story that became The Lord of the Rings. Tolkien was a philologist. before he wrote a word of The Lord of the Rings, he invented the whole elfish language. And he would read it to his friends at a group called the Inklings, which included C.S. Lewis and Hugo Dyson and others. And Lewis just wanted a story. And Tolkien said, you know what Jack is like. He's such a little boy. He just wants his story. Well, he could tell a story even in a short poem. Here is John to read The Late Passenger for us.
The sky was low. The sounding rain was falling dense and dark. And Noah's sons were standing at the window of the ark. The beasts were in, but Japheth said, I see one creature more, belated and unmated there, come knocking at the door. Well, let him knock, said Ham, or let him drown or learn to swim. We're overcrowded as it is. We've got no room for him. And yet it knocks. How terribly it knocks, says Shem. Its feet are hard as horn. But oh, the air that comes from it is sweet. Now hush, said Ham. We'll waken Dad. And once he comes to see what's at the door, it's sure to mean more work for you and me. Noah's voice came roaring from the darkness down below. Some animal is knocking. Take it in before we go. Ham shouted back, and savagely he nudged the other two. That's only Japheth knocking down a brad nail in his shoe, said Noah. Boys, I hear a noise that's like a horse's hoof, said Ham. Why, that's the dreadful rain that drums upon the roof. Noah tumbled up on deck, and out he put his head. His face went gray, his knees were loosed. He tore his beard and said, Look, look, it would not wait, it turns away, it takes its flight. Fine work you've made of it, my sons, between you all tonight. O noble and unmated beast, my sons were all unkind. In such a night, what stable and what across the hearts of men, before it comes to stable and to manger once again. And dark and crooked all the ways in which our race shall walk, and shriveled all their manhood like a flower with broken stalk. And all the world, O Ham, may curse the hour when you were born. Because of you the ark must sail without the unicorn.
Lewis had a rich life. And he was a generous man. He gave away 2/3 of his income. His friend and philosopher, Owen Barfield, who was a solicitor as well, started the Agape Fund, into which Lewis put most of his earnings and would be distributed variously. But he would also give money out of his pocket. Any beggar that came along, one time he was walking with Tolkien, and some tramp, local guy, came up to Lewis and asked him for some money. And Lewis gave him a £1 note, which was not small change back in the 40s. And Tolkien said, Jack, as he was known, why do you do this? You know he's just going to drink it up. To which Lewis said, well, I don't see what the problem is, Thomas. That's what I was going to do with it. So he liked walking, these long walking tours. He loved talking. He was one of the great conversationalists of his day. He loved drinking. He loved smoking. You know the name Bob Jones of Bob Jones University, a very, very conservative, virtually fundamentalist Christian college. Well, Bob Jones was becoming famous here, and he decided to check out this man over there. Who is this C.S. Lewis? So we went to visit C.S. Lewis. And when he came back home, people were curious to know Bob Jones's reaction to C.S. Lewis. And Jones said, well, that man does drink, and that man does smoke. But I believe he's a Christian. I mentioned the Inklings earlier. Lewis would have these wonderful once-weekly and sometimes twice-weekly meetings with his friends, his writers' friends, including Tolkien. Hugo Dyson, who was a riotously funny man, would show up at these. And one time, Tolkien was reading another episode from The Lord of the Rings, this one about the elves. Dyson came in late and realized what was happening and said, oh, good God, not another one of your effing elves. But you know, he didn't say effing. And everybody laughed, except Tolkien, who didn't think it was too funny. Lewis underwent a crisis at the end of the 40s. He hadn't believed his sins were forgiven. And then one day, late in the 40s, he did. It was shortly after Mrs. Moore, who was 79 years old and had been confined to an asylum, died. He was greatly relieved of his sin. So we have the Latin letters of C.S. Lewis. He said to Don Giovanni that he feared he would never write, he thought, not feared, another word. And glory be to God for that, because he was starting to take his praise and adulation a little too seriously, and they were becoming occasions to the great sin of pride. So if I cannot write another word, it's really a gift. I suggested earlier that Lewis didn't know himself. Perhaps this is another example of it, because out came the 7 Chronicles of Narnia shortly after this dry spell. So much for that. But Lewis was not easy with his own rhetorical power. Like the great Socrates, who distrusted rhetoric but gave great speeches, Lewis too distrusted rhetoric, and we see this all over his writing. Look, I had some time to give you examples of this from his writing, where people are only saved after they shut up. Not unlike the patient in Screwtape that Jeremy read the last letter about, where he finally dies and doesn't have to struggle anymore. Well, Lewis also doubted this ability that he had, and he expressed it in a poem which was not published during his lifetime. Jeremy will read for us The Apologist's Evening Prayer.
Which, while angels weep, the audience laugh. From all my proofs of thy divinity, thou who wouldst give no sign, deliver me. From all my thoughts, even from my thoughts of thee, O thou fair silence, fall and set me free. Lord of the narrow gate and the needle's eye, take from me all my trumpery, lest I die.
The final note, well, a semi-final note. The question is sometimes asked, what is the secret of Lewis? What is the fundamental appeal that he has, or the kernel of his appeal? Many people have answered it. My answer is that everywhere in Lewis there is heaven. Its calling card is what Lewis called joy, sometimes by the German word Sehnsucht, which is desire or longing, very often from a place you don't know about, but which is really home, which you're intended to get back to. Joy called to Lewis. Its effect is hope, and that is what Lewis achieved so splendidly, in my limited judgment, beyond anyone else I've ever read. Here is a very small sample of Lewis's expression of that in a very quotidian way. John reading The Day with a White Mark.
All day I have been tossed and whirled in a preposterous happiness. Was it an elf in the blood, or a bird in the brain, or even part of the cloudily crested, 50-league long, loud, uplifted wave of a journeying angel's transit roaring over and through my heart? My garden's spoiled. My holidays are canceled. The omens harden. Planned and unplanned miseries deepen. The knot draws tight. Reason kept telling me all day my mood was out of season. It was, too. In the dark ahead, the breakers only white. Yet I could have kissed the very scullery taps. The color of my day was like a peacock's chest. At each sense there stole ripplings and dewy sprinkles of delight that with them drew fine threads of memory through the vibrant thickness of my soul, as though there were transparent earths and luminous trees should grow there, and shining roots worked visibly far down below one's feet, so everything, the tick of the clock, the cock crowing in the yard, probing my soil, woke diverse buried hearts of mine to beat. Who knows if ever it will come again, now the day closes. No one can give me or take away that key. All depends on the elf, the bird, or the angel. I doubt if the angel himself is free to choose when sudden heaven in man begins or ends.
As a great Christian thinker and writer, Lewis's influence has been broad. Worldwide, in more than 30 languages, through many media, and for a duration of some 80 years and counting. And it has been deep. Minds and lives changed, hearts converted, souls saved. And why? You might ask, well, many people have explored the many reasons for that enormous personal impact and broad continuing influence. You've heard my answer. My answer is heaven. Lewis first invites us, then compels us to hope for it, as no writer in English before or since. Peter Bailey, first a pupil, then a friend, and a notable literary scholar in his own right, was one of the few people to attend Lewis's funeral. Of that he wrote, "It was on a very cold, frosty, but brilliantly sunny November morning. There was one candle on the coffin as it was carried out into the churchyard. It seemed not only appropriate, but almost a symbol of the man and of his integrity and of his absoluteness and his faith, that the flame burned so steadily, even in the open air, and seemed so bright, even in the bright sun." Well, I'm checking the clock and see we do have some time for question. Who knows, maybe even an answer or two questions, which I'll be happy to field as I'm able. So, who would want to begin?